What's cracking, everybody? Hello and welcome back to Gaming 101 with Mr. Berger. Tonight we're going to take a look at this Sparky, Wizard, and Rage deck. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. Sparky, Wizard, and Rage. Now, this is a really interesting off-meta deck, and I hate to do this, but if you're new to the channel and you like what you hear so far, and you like what you're going to see in a few minutes here, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can do so by putting or clicking on that little burger kind of right down there. There. Anyway, Sparky, Wizard, Rage. So what is beneficial about this deck? Well, it's very off-meta. So sometimes the fact that it's off-meta can play to your advantage. So they might not know how to respond to your deck, particularly the Sparky. Sparky is particularly unusual because you don't see her a whole lot. So players don't always know how to counter her. So when you place her down, they might panic and they might invest a whole ton of elixir and a bunch of extra troops that aren't necessary to counter her, and end up spending way more than the 6 that you spent to put her down. And that can kind of cause them to overwhelm your opponent and get this massive push going, and you can get 2 Sparkies on the ground at once, and it's great. Alright, so anyway, Sparky, she's a defensive powerhouse. She can survive for a long time if you play her on defense, because she's a ranged unit, and she sits back and charges up, and if you have something in front of her, she'll stay alive for a while, and just dish out hit after hit after hit, and each one of her blasts does an insane amount of damage. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but you can check it out in the stats tab as usual. So if you play her on defense and allow her to stay alive for a long time, similarly to how the princess works, because of her massive range, the Sparky can get a ton of value as a defensive unit, and then go on an extremely threatening counter push, because if one hit to an enemy's princess tower will take out about half of its health, so they absolutely have to answer that Sparky. Now, something to notice about this deck, or to note about this deck, is it works kind of like a spell bait deck. There's 3 aspects of spell bait in it, or 3 cards that involve that. In fact, now that I'm looking at it, there's actually kind of more, huh? I was thinking like, okay, we got the minion horde, we got the Sparky, and we got the elixir pump. But honestly, the Wizard too. Wizard will honestly very often be fireballed, or poisoned, or even like fireballed and zapped, or something like that. So you got quite a few cards in there, and even the Goblin Gang if you're looking out for like the zap, if you're trying to zap bait them a little bit too. But most importantly, what you want to do is ideally you get them to use their spell on like your Wizard or your minion horde, and then that frees up usage of your Sparky and most importantly your elixir pump. This is a big heavy beatdown deck, so you want to gain the benefit of that elixir pump if possible. It'll give you the opportunity to gain pretty big advantage and just kind of, you know, how do I say this, out-push them. Go for a huge, massive push. Alright, so another thing to keep in mind is the downsides of this deck. There's a few things that I've noticed, and there's a few downsides. So, most importantly to note is that there's no heavy spells, and I noticed that right away. There's really no spells at all, unless you count Rage. There's no offensive spells, is what I mean. You don't have even a Zapper log in there. So, if you can't connect to their tower, like if they have a really solid defense, you may not be able to break through, right? So keep that in mind when you're playing this deck. You might have to play a little bit differently, because there's a chance that their tower is going to be left with like 50 health or something ridiculous like that, and you'll never get the opportunity to finish it off. But of course, you won't really need to, because you got the Sparky in this deck, and she blows up towers in 2 hits. Alright, let's jump into these next 2 replays here. And I'm going to try to keep this a little bit of a shorter video tonight, because this is kind of a for fun troll deck. And there have been people that got 20 wins on it in the 20 win challenge recently, the CRL League challenge. And CRL League, I think the L is for league, right? It's like when you say ATM machine, the M already stands for machine, and in pin number, the N already stands for number. So in CRL League, I imagine the L stands for league. Anyway, in the Clash Royale League 20 win event, a couple of the pros got 20 wins and 0 losses with this very deck. Now guys, I'm not a very good player, so I didn't necessarily do as well as them. I wasn't having very good luck with it, but I'm trying to show a few matches here where I did alright and show a little bit of the potential with this deck. And if you're interested, I'm sure that you could find other videos out there. I know that Clash with Ash did one like this, as usual. Alright, so in the replay here, I counter his Inferno Dragon with my minion horde. And at this point, I lost the tower early on, But I'm kind of going for the counter push here, and you can see I want to go for the main king tower now. I don't really want to worry too much about the princess tower because, hey, look at the health difference. The king tower at this point has less health, so I think I'll commit to going for a 3 crown win. Now he's running a royal giant deck in a tournament, in tournament standard level, in a challenge, so not necessarily the best deck. Look how much damage the Sparky does there, dude. It's crazy. So this is a really off-meta deck, not only because of Sparky, but I mean, you got Rage in there, and it allows Sparky to just charge up and shoot so quickly. And of course you got the Giant in there because it's your classic beatdown, and you got a few spell baity kind of cards and swarm kind of cards to support everything. And then the Dark Prince, because why not? It's a Dark Prince. He's super strong in this meta. I think he's going to get nerfed pretty soon. I think he needs it because he's been buffed so many times in a row now. It's insane. Anyway, put him in basically all your decks at the moment. I highly recommend the Dark Prince in this meta. So at this point, he got the Inferno Dragon locked onto my Giant, so that takes it down. But I use my Dark Prince as kind of the mini tank to take his place. Oh, the Giant actually isn't fully dead. And then the Rage there allows the Dark Prince to go in and pretty much finish off the job. Yep, and that is it. Okay, so what do I do for an opening move? Well, ideally I want to have like the Giant or the elixir pump. Well, maybe not the Giant. I think opening with Giant might be a bad move, but I like to do it from time to time because it allows me to get my push going right away. Ideally, you'd open up with the elixir pump, I think, kind of in the center, right above your king tower, in between your 2 princess towers. Now, I answer his Dark Prince with my Dark Prince. He's got like a Mega Knight deck, it looks like here, and he's got some heavy cards in there. Mega Knight, Electro Wiz, Inferno Dragon. So I got the Giant in my deck. I decided I'm going to go for a counter push here. He's got the Inferno Dragon to counter my Giant. But I'm like, alright, let's go for a push. Why not? Try it off. And the Rage actually allows the Goblins to completely destroy his Electro Wiz, so that worked out really well. The really like small swarmy units, like, and the fast attack speed units, like a Witch or something who attacks really quickly, I find work out really well with Rage. It's kind of cool because they just stab so quickly and stuff that they can get into the enemy before the enemy can kind of react to them. Now he uses his Mega Knight, so now I know that he has a Mega Knight. I know I'm going up against the Mega Knight deck. I got the minion horde there, and he does zap it, which will bring it down to the point that it won't cause any threat to the enemy tower, but it is enough to keep them alive, or not enough to kill them rather, so they're able to kind of finish off the Mega Knight there. Of course, the Mega Knight did connect to the tower, so I took a chunk of damage on the tower there. Now I see he's going very aggressive here, and that's kind of a bad move on his part. I can absorb the incoming Dark Prince's charge with my Dark Prince's shield, because it'll absorb, you know, the amount of the shield's health pool, no matter how much more damage the hit does to it, that last hit does to it. So if they take a really massive hit from like a Prince's charge, it'll still just break the shield and the Dark Prince will be at full health, even if the shield's at lower than full health. So absorbing an enemy Prince or Dark Prince's charge with your Dark Prince's shield is definitely a very great move to do in all decks. Now I'm looking at his Executioner and it's only level 3, which kind of makes me feel bad for showing this as a replay in my video because it shows that I'm going up against a player who's probably only like, you know, level 9 or 10 to begin with. Or maybe not, you know, maybe he just has a lower level Executioner because it's not a card that he plays a lot. Regardless, ideally I'd be going up against a player that has the same level cards as me. Anyway, it just kind of shows the potential of this deck. And you can see that I'm on, how would I say this? I'm not doing so hot right now. I'm losing right now for sure. But am I going to be able to pull this together? Well, I think so. Let's see how I do it. I got 2 elixir pumps going right now. And I don't think he has a really solid answer to my elixir pumps, does he? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So, let's see. I got a really solid push going here on the right. I got the minion horde, and the minion horde is an example of those swarmy units that work really well with Rage. Because those minions, man, they do so much damage. So if you get them locked onto an enemy tower or an enemy unit with the Rage effect on them, it's crazy. They just blow it up. Just melt through it. What do they even do? Do they bite it? It looks to me like they throw little, like, black spheres at them, but I'm not sure. Anyway, look at that, what I was talking about with the Dark Prince. My Sparky, the strongest hit in the game, basically, shot the Dark Prince, and all it did was break his shield, and he still had full health. Oh man, he destroys my minion horde with his Executioner, but of course the minion horde with the Rage gets up there and destroys the Executioner too. And I've just got a really solid heavy push going on the left here. With that Dark Prince in there, I decide to play it kind of like a bridge spam, and I keep applying pressure. I put the Dark Prince at the bridge, I put the Giant in the pocket, I put the minion horde offensively, something you wouldn't generally do, but I'm like, whatever, let's do it, let's try it. Dark Prince is still alive, and he connects to the tower. I send the Goblin Gang in, he logs it, but that's enough to finish off the tower with the remaining minions. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this Sparky Wizard Rage video. Yeah, that's right, Sparky Wizard Rage. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a good night.